All right, so make sure you are on page 23 of the packet. We are on the solution sets of two or more equations or inequalities joined by and or. We're going to specifically be talking about the difference between and or today. So right now I'm in math class and English class. Is that true? Well, yes, I am in math class, but no, I am not in English class. Can I be in both of those places, both in math class and English class? The answer is no, so A is going to be false. However, if I look at B where it says right now I am in math class or English class, only one of those conditions have to be true. And in this case here, I am in math class. So that statement is true because only one of the conditions have to be true. I am either in math class or English class. That is true. All right, so I'm going to ask you to go ahead and finish through F and then check your answers with me. So take a look at your answers and compare them to mine. And see if either you or I have got anything different here that one of us is going to be wrong. We'll need to get to the bottom of this. But basically what this comes down to, if I go on to G and H, in order for an AND statement to be true, both of the conditions have to be true. However, only one of the conditions have to be true for an OR statement to be true. So let's flip the page. Okay, so now I'm going to start this one off. I'm solving here, and I have an OR statement. I'm going to go ahead and solve each of these equations separately. So this one is an x plus 8. X has 8 added to it, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. And I'm going to get x is equal to -5. And I have the word OR. I'm going to add 6 to both sides here, and I'm going to get x is equal to 8. So x is equal to -5 or x is equal to 8. And I'm going to, there's different ways that you can write an answer. A lot of times, actually, people write their answer like this, but I'm going to write it in set notation. And I'm going to put that my two answers possible are -5 or 8. All right, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and finish B, C, and D, and then check your answers with mine. So compare your answers to mine, but one of mine is actually wrong here. See if you can figure that out, which one's wrong. And the answer is the last one here is wrong here. I basically came up with a set here. This is supposed to be all of the numbers that are both equal to 9 and greater than 9. And I can't think of one single number that is equal to 9 and greater than 9 at the same time. So this is actually not, this would actually be OR. If it was equal to 9 or greater than 9, then I would have W is greater than or equal to 9. But I'm actually graphing all of the points that are equal and greater than them, which is nothing. So I'm actually going to have the null set here. All right, so in this next case, I'm going to ask you to do A, B, and C together, but I'm going to, instead of doing it on 3 separate number lines, let's do this all together. So we're going to start off with a colored pencil, some kind of pencil, and draw x is less than 3. And then with a different color, you're welcome to use a pen, but try not to make any mistakes if you do that. You're going to draw x is greater than -1, and then a different color, try to graph the combination where x is less than 3 and x is greater than -1. But let's do this all on one graph and then compare what you get to what I have. So looking at this one here, you can see x is greater than -1 was the blue graph. X is less than 3 is the one that I just used a regular pencil on. And the purple one is the combination of x is less than 3 and x is greater than -1. In other words, this is the graph of all the points that are both less than -3, which is this direction, and at the same time greater than -1. So like 0, 1, and 2 are both less than 3 and greater than -1. But like the number 5, which is greater than -1, is not also less than 3. So that's not going to be inside my graph. Okay, let's go ahead and try the same thing on D, E, and F. Try to put it all on one number line with a different color and see what you get and compare it to what I have. So in this case, the pencil was x is less than -4. Oh, sorry, I drew that one wrong. So I had made a mistake on that letter D there. I had actually read that as x is less than 4, not x is less than -4. So that one is actually wrong here. So I corrected it down here in E. I said, all right, x is less than 4 is an inequality going to the left here. X is greater than 0 is an inequality going to the right. And now I'm going to graph all of the points that are either less than -4, which is everything to the left, or everything, or x is greater than 0, which is everything to the right. So basically, because I'm graphing an or statement, only one of these has to be true. So either this one's true or this one's true, which means that everything where those two are combined are true. And so I just redrew the exact same ones here, but I put them in purple, and I just drew them on the second graph. You could have done it on the first one as well, put them all together. I just thought it was easier to see if I put them into two different spaces there. All right, let's move on to the next page. All right, so I'm going to graph x is greater than -2, which is an open circle on -2, and then going to the right because it's greater than that. But I'm also going to graph or x is equal to -2, which means I'm going to be filling in this point. All right, and there we go. I have just graphed all of the points that are either equal, x is equal to -2, or where they're greater than -2, and that's my answer. What's another way of abbreviating x is greater than -2 or x is equal to -2? Well, we have a symbol that does that. Instead of x is greater than -2, I write x is greater than or equal. So remember that this greater and equal, it's not greater and equal, it's greater or equal to -2. So that's the way we can rewrite it. Okay. The converse of that, basically, if I have x is less than or equal to 4 and I want to break it into a compound sentence, I'm going to write it as x is less than 4 or x is equal to 4. Right? Make sure, again, if it's a compound sentence, this is an or statement. It has to be an or between there, not an and. And then I'll go ahead and graph that. Here is a 4. And it is equal to it, less than or equal, which means it includes that 4, which means I need to fill it in and to be able to draw my graph like this. Okay, I'm actually now going to ask you to try to fill in everything for example 2 on your own. See if you can graph those and then compare them to mine. All right, so take a look at these three graphs. This one I had to extend the graph a little bit. It wasn't a very good graph to be able to graph this particular answer. This was an or statement, either this or this, but this one, x is between 1 and 3, including 1 and 3. X is greater than 1 and x is less than 3. This is that is an and statement. I'm going to say it again. X is greater than or equal to 1 and x is less than or equal to 3. This is an and statement. So when you see something like this, we're graphing all the points that are both greater than 1 and less than 3, less than or equal to, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to 1, and less than or equal to 3. And those are all the points in between them, including 1 and 3. Of course, all the points that are less than 3 normally continue on here, but they all have to satisfy both of them. So because we also have to satisfy the compound part that x is greater than or equal to 1. It's basically just the parts in the middle there. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to ask you guys to do just the last part of here, and again, compare it with me when you're done. So the first one here is conceptually, I don't think that difficult to be able to see this, that basically if the speech must be between 7 minutes and 12 minutes, then I must be including all of the points between 7 and 12, including those because it's allowed to be exactly 7 minutes or up to exactly 12 minutes, as it says, but not exceed it. So being 12 is okay, and being at least 7 is also okay. So both of these are closed circles because it's allowed to include 7 minutes and 12 minutes. The second one, and this one actually, I think that we could actually debate this one a little bit, that there's not just one correct answer. It actually depends a little bit how we interpret this one. But I basically was saying, like, part of it is the way that we judge what a person's age is. So it was okay for students between 2 and 12. But what's kind of interesting about that is someone tends to be, we consider them 12 years old if they're 12 years and 1 month and 12 years and 6 months. Even 12 years and 364 days, we still consider them 12. It's only when they turn 13 that they actually will not be allowed to get that discount on the movie theater. So I put an open circle on 13, and I put a closed circle on 2 because as soon as that person turns 2, they are officially 2 and should be able to get that discount. In this case here, it said 60 years age or older, so that would include 60, so that was a closed circle in there. So it's either between 2 and 13, not including the 13, or 60 and above.